Ever wondered how to perfectly play blackjack? Well, you're not alone. Blackjack, a game that has been around for centuries, has cemented its place as a classic in both brick-and-mortar and online casinos worldwide. It's the blend of luck, strategy, and the thrill of the unknown that makes this card game so captivating. From the glitzy lights of Las Vegas to the virtual world of online gaming, blackjack has become a symbol of sophistication and excitement. But the real charm of this game lies in its perfect play. It's about the right decisions at the right time. It's about knowing when to hit, when to stand, and when to double down. It's about understanding the game, inside and out. So, whether you're a seasoned player looking to refine your strategy, or a novice eager to learn the ropes, this video is for you. So buckle up and get ready to become the life of any casino party. Before diving into strategies, it's essential to understand the basic rules of blackjack. So let's get started with that. Blackjack, also known as 21, is a popular card game played worldwide. The game pits players against the dealer, and the aim is to have a hand with a total value that is closer to 21 than the dealer's hand without going over. Now, how do you determine the value of your hand? It's simple. All cards 2 through 10 are worth their face value. Picture cards like the King, Queen, and Jack are each worth 10 points. The Ace is a bit of a wild card. It can be worth either 1 or 11 points depending on what benefits your hand the most. The game begins with each player, including the dealer, receiving 2 cards. One of the dealer's cards is dealt face up, and the other is dealt face down. This face down card is known as the hole card. Players then take turns deciding if they want to hit and receive another card to increase their total, or stand and stick with their current total. But beware, if your total goes over 21, you bust and automatically lose regardless of the dealer's hand. So it's a fine balance between trying to reach as close to 21 as possible and not going over. A blackjack is when your first 2 cards total 21, for example, an ace and a 10 or a picture card. It's the best hand in the game and automatically wins unless the dealer also has a blackjack, in which case it's a push, and you keep your original bet. It's important to note that the dealer must continue to hit until their cards total at least 17. Dealer rules can vary, so always check the specifics at your table. Now that you've grasped the basics, let's move on to some winning strategies. With a solid understanding of these rules, you'll be well on your way to becoming a pro at the blackjack table. Winning at blackjack isn't all about luck. Strategic play can significantly increase your odds. Let's dive into the first set of strategies that will set the tone for your blackjack journey. Firstly, we have the hit strategy. It's a simple action. You're asking for another card to increase your hand's total. But when should you do it? Well, typically if your hand totals 16 or less, it's a good idea to hit. This gives you a chance to reach a total closer to 21 without going over. Then there's the stand strategy. This is when you're satisfied with your total and don't want any more cards. If your hand totals 17 or more, it's generally best to stand. The risk of going over 21 is just too high. Moving on, we have the double down strategy. This is a bit more advanced. Doubling down allows you to double your initial bet after you've seen your first 2 cards, but you must take exactly 1 more card. A prime time to double down is when your first 2 cards total 11, and the dealer has a card showing that's less than a 10. Lastly, there's the split strategy. This is possible when you have 2 cards of the same value. You split them into 2 separate hands and place a second bet equal to your first. It's usually best to split when you have a pair of 8s or aces. 8s give you a chance to turn a tough total of 16 into a strong possibility of 2 18s. Aces, well, those can potentially become 2 blackjacks. Now the key to all these strategies is the dealer's visible card. Making decisions based on this card is critical. If the dealer's card is a 7 or higher, you need to play safe and aim for a high total. If it's 6 or lower, the dealer is likely to bust, so you can play more aggressively. Remember, every decision you make significantly impacts the game, so choose wisely. Let's delve deeper into more advanced strategies to elevate your game. In the world of blackjack, beyond the basic strategy, there are a few more tricks of the trade that can give you an edge. 2 of these are card counting and shuffle tracking. Now, before we go any further, let's clarify that while these strategies can improve your chances, they're not foolproof. But they certainly make the game more interesting. Card counting is all about keeping track of the ratio of high to low cards in the deck. The idea is simple. When there are more high cards in the deck, you increase your bets. When there are more low cards, you decrease your bets. It's a game of probabilities, and while it requires a sharp mind and quick calculations, it can significantly tilt the odds in your favor. Shuffle tracking, on the other hand, is a bit more complex. It involves tracking certain cards or sequences of cards through a shuffle. This strategy is based on the principle that shuffling doesn't completely randomize the cards. By keeping an eye on specific cards, you can predict where they might end up after a shuffle, giving you a potential advantage. Now, let's talk about the house edge. The house edge is essentially the casino's average profit from a player's bet. In blackjack, the house edge is typically around 1%, which means that for every $100 you bet, the casino expects to win about $1 over the long run. But with advanced strategies like card counting and shuffle tracking, you can reduce this edge and increase your chances of winning. Remember, these strategies require practice. They aren't for everyone, and they certainly won't guarantee a win every time, but they can make the game more engaging and potentially more profitable. So sharpen your mind, keep your eyes on the cards, and let the game begin. With these advanced strategies, you're well on your way to becoming a blackjack master. Avoiding common mistakes can be as crucial as knowing the right strategies. These words ring true, especially when it comes to the game of blackjack. While there are countless strategies to learn and perfect, it's equally important to be aware of the pitfalls that can trip you up. Let's take a moment to delve into some of the most common mistakes players often make. Firstly, there's the classic trap of not knowing when to quit. It's all too easy to get caught up in the thrill of the game, especially when you're on a winning streak. But remember, the house always has an edge. The longer you play, the more likely it is that you'll start to lose. So, set a limit for yourself, and stick to it. Next, let's talk about playing with emotions. It's important to understand that blackjack is a game of skill, not a game of emotions. It's easy to get frustrated or overly excited, but these emotions can cloud your judgment and lead you to make poor decisions. So whether you're on a winning streak or a losing one, keep a level head and stick to your strategy. Speaking of strategy, it's a common mistake not to use basic blackjack strategy. This is a set of rules that tell you the best action to take for any given hand. It's based on statistics and probabilities, and it's your best bet for minimizing the house edge. Ignoring these guidelines and relying on gut feelings or hunches is a surefire way to increase the house's advantage. Lastly, don't underestimate the importance of practice. Even if you've memorized the basic strategy and are aware of common pitfalls, you won't truly master the game until you've had plenty of practice. So, take the time to practice, either online or with friends, before you hit the casino floor. Avoid these pitfalls, and you'll be a step ahead of many players out there. Remember, the goal is not just to play blackjack, but to play it well, and avoiding these common mistakes is a big part of that. So, let's quickly recap what we've learned today. We started off by understanding the basics of blackjack, the simple yet intriguing card game. We dove into the rules, learned how to deal the cards, and the significance of each card value. Then, we explored some strategic aspects of the game. We understood when to hit, when to stand, and when to split or double down. These strategies, when used effectively, can significantly increase your chances of winning. We also touched upon some common mistakes that players often make. Remember, overconfidence, lack of strategy, and not knowing when to quit can cost you the game. It's always important to play responsibly and within your limits. Now, armed with these strategies and insights, you're ready to take on any blackjack table. Remember, practice makes perfect. Happy gaming.